Dynamic duos, two individuals who often have great chemistry and complementary skills that make them a powerful team. SpongeBob and Patrick caught jellyfish under the sea, Mario and Luigi rescued Princess Peach, I think that's her name, and Capoxxo and Pvscale made music for depressed skaters, emo kids, and zesty incels, and they were great at it. Visit SoundCloud and you'll find the platform riddled with music that doesn't really stand out in the sea of electronic, emo, and pseudo-hyperpop music. But Capoxxo and Pvscale were forerunners, revolutionizing the underground scene while creating music that, to this day, holds up when you put it up against newer artists. Together, they formed a sound which many other underground artists you know today took inspiration from. Unfortunately, Pvscale passed away very early on in their respective careers at only 19 years old, shortening their run together. However, during the short time they were together, they definitely made their mark. Yo, wake up bro, you're daydreaming.
Oh hell nah, not the Capoxxo compound.
Lucas Pvscale Cirillo, Pvscale, and Frank Besselo, Capoxxo, were both born on June 3rd, 2000 in Seattle, Washington. These guys were literally twins. Pvscale grew up in a regular residential neighborhood. His childhood and upbringing was pretty good and he had nothing to complain about. According to him and Capo met and had been friends with each other since kindergarten. They probably became friends after being seated next to each other because their last names are close alphabetically. Shout out to the alphabetical class list for that. They became friends, and through their adolescence, they would hang out and do things like skate. In 6th grade, Pvscale started making dubstep. I vaguely remember when it was popular back then. It was around the time Skrillex blew up and Club Penguin was a thing. Around 7th and 8th grade, he started making trap, EDM type beats, and Lex Luger / Rick Ross type beats. So as his taste in music progressed, so did his music. Growing up, he loved Jimi Hendrix, Flatbush Zombies, Capital Steez, Pink Floyd, a lot of EDM producers, which you can clearly hear in his music, and Mac Miller. He said the biggest influences on his music were probably Speaker Knockers, Queen, Prince, Lil Uzi, and the Eagles. Actually scratch that, very diverse combination. His hobbies included going on walks, skateboarding, meditating, and drinking root beer. Capoxxo had a pretty nice upbringing as well, just a tad bit rougher. He also grew up in Seattle, a park called Crown Hill, and grew up skateboarding, surfing, and playing music. His father owned a skate shop for 24 years, one of the most popular spots in the area Capo grew up in. He spent most of his childhood in that skate shop. He was constantly surrounded by teenagers that were building skateboards. They took care of him while his father was working. He said he always grew up in that environment, where there's drugs, sketchy people, graffiti, etc. The skate shop went out of business in 2014. He was 14 at the time, and his family was struggling a bit after that. At an early age, he got into punk music and death metal, and also learned to play the guitar. He used to scream death metal songs at school, and when he was 12, he even played a cover live. It has around 10,000 views on YouTube, and there are more posted on the specific channel. I'll link the videos of him performing in the description. YouTube turns off comments with kids in them, so that's how you can watch them. Mastodon, the band he covered, thought it was really cool and brought him backstage at their show in Seattle, so you could definitely say he was musically inclined. Around 13, he started doing grass. For the next 2 years, all he'd do was skate and do the devil's lettuce. Don't judge him. When he was 15, he got into drugs, like those Tic Tacs that make you sleepy, and stopped everything. That's also when he started making music, his freshman year of high school. His introduction to making music was him producing beats with Pvscale, but the actual start to his career was him and Pvscale making the song Backseat. That was around the time Capo and Pvscale started getting into SoundCloud music and listening to artists such as Lil Peep. So what happens when you have two impressionable teenagers that get their heart broken and listen to Lil Peep? They start sipping lean and become SoundCloud rappers. Pvscale himself said he was very inspired and influenced by Charlie Shuffler, who used to sample songs with guitar in his beats. Listen to Love Letter by Lil Peep and you'll immediately hear the similarities. Even the cover art is a bit similar. After they graduated high school, they had a pivotal moment occur in their lives, one that everyone remembers. They discovered Blade. When they first started making music, Capo's name was Lil Frosty and Pvscale went by Loose or OMG Loose. Throughout 2017, they gained traction, and using that wave of clout, they formed a group called Hinoni, the most prominent group they were a part of. They were already a part of another group called CBX, which they remained in simultaneously, founded by one of Capo's high school friends. The day Hinoni came to fruition was one fateful night. Pvscale said it was a blur, but Young Shame, Lil Koi, Capoxxo, and Lil Soda Boy, most of Hinoni's members, were all in Pvscale's basement. They didn't make much music, but it was the first time they congregated, and in Pvscale's own words, all knew it was the start of something great. Hinoni would later on include Lil Yu and Nez, who unfortunately also passed away. Not Lil Yu, just Nez. Lil Yu still alive. All in all, the group produced 3 tapes. This was a great time for their music, but good things don't last forever, and the group ultimately disbanded in late 2019 for a multitude of reasons. Capoxxo and Pvscale stopped being friends with Young Shame. They cut him off completely for reasons I don't really want to speak about, to be honest. In retaliation, Shame deleted a lot of Hinoni's tracks and Pvscale's SoundCloud, something I'm sure he regrets. He kind of started to honor Pvscale after his death. Currently, Hinoni just serves as a good memory for everyone involved. Rest in peace Pvscale and Nez. Nez passed away on July 19th, 2019 from gun violence. Pvscale died on February 26th, 2020 due to an overdose on pills laced with fentanyl. The saddest part is that he always had Narcan on him. And if you don't know what that is, it's a life-saving medication medication that can reverse an overdose from opiates when given in time, but the girl he was with didn't know how to use it. Pascal's death was really sad. He had goals of becoming financially independent off of music and building his own recording studio. He definitely would have become financially independent off of music if he was just alive for a couple more years. And worst of all, he was only 19 years old. Capo also had his struggles with drugs, and he still does today. In early 2020, Capo was on a certain hard drug for a short period of time and went to rehab. He went back to rehab in 2021 after he was forced to due to a DUI. So onto their discography. Pvscale and Capoxxo started their careers with some really great songs that still hold up today. Their first song together, Backseat, Capo's 17, flexing the money he's making, but he's still not over his ex. The lyrics are very Lil Peep influenced. He's rapping about being in the Benz in the backseat. In Runaway, Pvscale and Capo are describing the depression they experienced over the heartbreak of their exes. They try to numb themselves to, as the song name suggests, run away from all the struggles, but every time Capo tries to fight his demons, they burn him down. Dying on the Dance Floor, one of their early hits with an EDM production, and I guess you can even say this is kind of dubstep influenced, something Pvscale was really into. Capo is heartbroken over his ex and uses drugs to cope with his pain. He's slowly dying while turning up. It's kind of like a club EDM song, but it's also sad and emo at the same time, which is what made them unique. I Hate It, they released the following month. It described their drug abuse. They hate their addiction, but love the feeling they get from it. They keep getting blessed by life regardless, and Pvscale relays a strong message. Follow my footsteps, you won't come back from it. Moving on to Hainoni. As a group, they have multiple standout singles. In Nights Like This, You Gotta Keep It Chopped, Capo's vocals shine through on the song. His money's flipping like Tony Hawk, he keeps a 30 in his clip, and at the end, Nez repeats the phrase, Nights Like This, You Gotta Keep It Chopped. Essentially, they live life dangerously. In Landmine, the beat has a melody that you could probably find in a hyperpop song today. In the song, Capo is describing his shortcomings. He's falling apart. Lil Yu follows up with a classic verse, flexing his designer and Candy. Hainoni has 3 tapes, Hainoni, Hainoni 2, and Rest in Peace Hainoni. Overdrive has an EDM bassline, but trap drums, and Capo killed the chorus, singing You Put My Heart in Overdrive. He hates how he gets treated. In Darkness, the memories loom over Capo, and the meds are all he has. Lil Yu has girls hitting him up on Steam, but he still keeps his pull on him. Rest in Peace Hainoni. In LA Clubs, one of my favorite Pvscale beats, Capo only wants one girl. He fights his demons every night, but together they'll be fine. He reminisces on those times they spent together while they were in LA. As I said before, Hainoni disbanded, and after Hainoni broke up, a new group was formed, Life is Pain. It ended abruptly with the death of Pvscale, and only one EP was ever dropped, non-existent. Porcelain, produced by Capo, Pvscale, and ASA41, one of their friends, is one of their best songs. Capo describes his dream in which he saw his ex, and Pvscale's ex brought out the best in him, but also made him a mess. Tell the truth, a little nostalgic for some reason, Pvscale thinks about gym class and the times he shared it with his ex. That might be a Lil Peep reference, I'm not sure. While Capo says his ex made him look stupid. So moving on to Capoxxo's discography. Call Me When I'm Cold was his first project and mostly features Pvscale. We Can Die Together. This project was probably his most cohesive body of work he's ever put out. Capo tends to just drop hard singles, and it's kind of a shame we haven't gotten another project as well put together as this, other than their collab album, Don't Stay Too Long, I Need You More. Do You Feel Me? Besides the typical fake flexing, Capo doesn't go outside, and thinking about his ex makes his mind go to a dark place. One of his catchiest songs, and he really sings his heart out, something he rarely does anymore. Angel Eyes, he's describing his crush and all the things he wants to do with her. He can't stop thinking about her. The song features a little Koi who hasn't dropped a song in years. He was really young. Koi was like a kid at this time. And Caps says he's watching out for the feds. This user has gone offline. Why Am I Upset is arguably one of his best songs in this time period. The melody is really happy. All Capo does is pop pills, flex on his ex, but he's still depressed. I'm Sorry has a classic Pvscale beat. Capo scoring drank, just look it up and figure out what that means if you don't know. His messages won't send, he's blocked, and it's hard to trust him because he's an addict. He doesn't know what he did to deserve this type of treatment though. Sorry All Winter. Wells Fargo, it's kinda hard to understand what he's saying for part of the song. He eats candy in public and has bad dreams, wishing someone would save him. Pvscale just wants to be with the girl he loves. True Love Never Fades was a 2-song EP that was pretty good. It was released after Pvscale's passed. The first song was for Pvscale. Capo promises they were next up, and it's not fair. He's even crying on part of the track, and you can really hear the emotion. Singles, not in any particular order. His biggest solo song across all platforms, of course it's produced by Pvscale. Ooh wee ooh ooh wee ooh ooh wee ooh oh you oh ooh ow ooh. Okay, whatever. I give up. He's copying Designer and geeking out. He wants to be together with the girl he's with at a party. In Memories, Capo's ex has been reduced to a memory he can hardly recall. He misses her and even resents her and drowns himself in materialism. In Perfect, he's off the candy, speaking cursive, referring to slurred speech. It's probably his most popular song too, featuring Oaf and Dreamcash. The hook Perfect revolves around Dance Dance Revolution, a rhythm arcade game by Konami that was really popular around 2006. In the game, when you hit a note at exactly the right time, you get a perfect, like the single cover shows. And just like most songs in Dance Dance Revolution, this track lasts around 2 minutes. My Life is Like a Movie, his biggest song on SoundCloud, his earliest hit and one of his best. Capo talks about how he's lonely without his ex. He still loves her even though she hurt him and remembers all the things they've done together. It was beautiful, paired with one of the more higher quality Capo music videos. He's starting to wonder if the girl he loves even cares about him. He wants to turn up with her. He compares his life to an RPG, role-playing game, specifically Final Fantasy. In doing better, he wants to be with the girl he loves forever, but it won't work. He's a mess, and even though he blames her, he knows it's really because of him. In Never Guessed, he kinda sums up what it means to be depressed in modern times. He's finally admitting he's not okay. He's shut out all his friends, doesn't see himself repeating his past, and because of that, feels like his death is coming soon. Both of these songs were made around the time of his second stint in rehab, and Are You the Real Thing? He's gone off the candy. It's a party song. He just lives for the buzz rather than face his problems. It's one of his hardest hooks too. Just listen. In Better Off Without Me, Capo wants to hang out with his ex, who he reveals dumped him, and Tic Tacs are the only thing that numbs his pain. In Show Me the Light, Capo tells the story of stealing his parents' car. Capo has way more songs, but the content is starting to get a bit redundant, and I don't want to bore you guys. So moving on to Pvscale's discography. Burning Christmas, his first project, mostly gone, but some songs can still be found, like Two Poles. I don't know why, but the song reminds me of Nav. Maybe it's just a simple flow. There's actually even a Nav type beat still up on his YouTube channel. The Falling. In the song, Pvscale is falling in love while Capo is falling in life. Kind of funny and sad at the same time. Ascension, Pvscale's best project. There are all types of tracks. The content ranges from drugs to girls and has problems such as loneliness. The production is very versatile on the project, and it's really impressive taking into account that he mostly produced it himself. Free Candy has an almost ethereal pad melody. Take Me Higher has an EDM melody, and When I'm Alone had a guitar beat. It featured Capo, Lil Koi, Lil U, and ASA41. Basically, Hanoni. Fall, an EP with his friend Zenith. The music was alright. Era featured a song called Dancing in the Sky, and it sounds like a song from the 2000s, and in it he says his girl has finally come around. In Relapse, Pvscale compares his inevitable relapse on drugs to how he knows he'll keep coming back to his ex. He's just accepted it. Dance All Night. He just repeats the name of the song, We Can Dance All Night, followed by the lead melody. His most popular song, and it literally makes you want to dance. Crazy, the last song he ever released only 5 days before he overdosed. His music was getting really good, the beat and his vocals were way cleaner than before. It's about his new girl, who he's crazy for. His last girl betrayed him. There's a really eerie lyric where he predicts his death, saying he can't be saved because of all the pills he pops. Currently, Capo is carrying on his best friend's legacy and doing his own thing, of course. His sound has definitely evolved, and he frequently collaborates with people like Mayhem and Keyblade. I wanted to end the doc with something Pvscale said in his only interview. I just wanted to relay the message, you know? He wanted to shout out Albert Hoffman, the guy who invented LSD, Terence McKenna, a psychedelic proponent, Alan Watts, a philosopher, a couple other people like the philosopher Carl Jung, the journalist/author Hunter S. Thompson. So if you know who these people are, you'll be able to tell that Pvscale was really into counterculture, and his advice to anyone and everyone would be to let go and trust the universe. That's it for this doc. I go by Rashad Bashir. Go to the pinned comment in the description if you want to see more video docs like this, and my socials. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions, and see you next time.